Hello everyone, I am Liel Pauline A.D. Guzman, and for this presentation, I will be discussing about the constellations. As we start the discussion, I have some question. Who among you is always looking from above the skies to see the stars at night? As you look at the stars at night and be amazed by it, are you making some wishes or wondering what kind of stars are you seeing? As we go through those questions, we will be discussing about the constellations. Constellations. So what is constellations? Did you know that constellations is a group of stars that make an imagery shape in the night sky? They are usually named after mythological characters, people, animals, and objects. In short, the constellations can be a map or a pattern. Here are the examples of constellations that are named after mythological characters. These are Pegasus, Cygnus, and more. As we continue, I have one question. Who among you watched Moana? In one scene in Moana the movie, there is a scene where Maui and Moana are looking at the stars at night to navigate where they will be going and to check if the weather is good through the wind and constellations for them to continue their adventure. Did you know that constellations can be navigators? As we discussed a while ago, constellations are a group of stars that make an imagery shape in the night sky. In the perspective, constellations and navigations. In ancient time, ancient peoples used the stars to guide them during their adventures. The night sky is their map, and certain constellations serve as key markers of direction. In ancient civilizations, like Egyptians, Greeks, and Polynesians, used the stars to navigate vast distances. The Polynesians, for instance, used a complex system of star navigation to explore the Pacific Ocean. In addition to that, most people in the Northern Hemisphere know 12 constellations, but not everyone knows how to find them in the night sky. Constellations and knowledge of the night sky have played a very important role in maritime history. Long before we had GPS, satellites, and even a simple clock that could be relied upon to keep accurate time at sea on a rolling ship, sailors learned to identify the stars in the sky so they could use them to navigate out of sight of land. Hundreds of years ago, people made tools to navigate with that could measure angles between the stars and the horizon. This way, they could do some calculations and figure out their latitude. They had to wait hundreds of years to figure out their longitude because you need a very accurate clock to figure out, and the first reliable seagoing clock or chronometer wasn't invented until 17th. Some every celestial navigation tools were the cross-staff, the astrolabe, and eventually the quadrant, octant above, and sextant. The most important and easiest stars to find in the night sky in the Northern Star or North Star or Polaris, also called as the Pole Star. The North Star is located at the tip of the handle in the constellation, the Little Dipper. The easiest way to find it is first, find the Big Dipper and follow its pointer stars in a line across the sky to the North Star. No matter where you are in the Northern Hemisphere, you know you are facing north if you are looking for the North Star. So, anyone can learn to identify some of more important stars and constellations, and you don't need to buy anything to do it. You just need your eyes and a dark sky and a little guidance. As we go further, a while ago, we discussed about constellations and navigating. Now, we will be discussing about constellations and seasonal indicators. Constellations were also crucial for determining the time of year and the changing of seasons. Ancient cultures observed the movement of stars and constellations across the night sky to keep track of the seasons, which was essential for activities like agriculture. For instance, the rising and setting times of certain stars helped determine when it was the right time to plant or harvest crops. See, we can see that constellations can be a map, a pattern, or a guide for us. As we end the topic, I know there is a question coming through in your mind. What are the constellations we can see at night? The constellation we can see at night depend on the time of the year. Earth orbits around the sun once each year. Our view into space through the night sky changes as we orbit. So the night sky looks slightly different each night because Earth is different spot in its orbit. The stars appear each night to move slightly west of where they were the night before. In conclusion, in ancient time and modern time, constellations are useful because they help stargazers and astronomers recognize specific stars in the night sky. Today, in our modern world, constellations are less important than they were in ancient history. In ancient times, constellations were used to create and track the calendar so they knew when to plant crops and harvest them. Constellations were also used for navigation and to help sailors travel across oceans. Once you find Ursa Major, you can easily spot the northern star, which is the Polaris. And by using the height of the northern star, you could figure out your latitude.